Alright, here's one of the problems that was on the worksheet we were working on in class. This is problem number 9. I believe it was on the back. And let's do that for us. First of all, let's read it. Our chemistry class meets 3 times a week. Once for 55.0 minutes on Monday, and twice for 75.0 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or Wednesdays and Fridays, respectively. If the school year is 40 weeks long, how many hours will you spend in chemistry class this year? Ignoring holidays and such and such. Follow-up question, how many days would that be? Alright. Well, there's a lot of numbers here. There's a 55, a 75, technically another 75, and a 40. I'm first going to think about how these numbers are orientated. And we have a 55, a 75, and a 75. And we're dealing with weeks. Alright? Basically, we're saying if you add those 3 numbers up, you have 205.0 minutes per week. Alright, I put some units, I added these up and put some units on it. Okay, it's not just minutes, it's minutes per week. I get an extra unit out of it. Okay, so those are gone. You might be wondering why I put the point. Alright, it's 0.0. And if you remember your sig fig operation for adding numbers, okay, addition and subtraction, you go to the number of decimal points. And 75.0 has 1 decimal point, and so does 55.0. So when you add the 2 75s and the 55, you should express your answer to 1 decimal point as well. 205.0 minutes per week. Okay, our starting information now is 4 sig figs wide. And reading the second sentence again, if the school year is 40 weeks long, sounds kind of like a conversion factor, how many hours will you spend in chemistry this year? All right, I'm going to do this on the bottom. If the school year, okay, if the school year is 40.0 weeks long, okay, it's kind of nifty. Anything you can rationalize, you can turn into a conversion factor. So we have 1 year, 40 weeks. All right, maybe we can use that. How many hours will you spend in chemistry class this year? All right, it seems like our goal is to get this bad boy, in units of hours, all right, per year. All right, number of hours per year. So we're going to have to work on both the minutes and the weeks. Because if we get hours per year and we multiply that value per 1 year, we'll get the number of hours. All right, so I'm going to erase that and continue on with the problem. All right, and carrying on, we have our minutes and weeks. We can work on either one of them. We have obvious conversion factors that I didn't write down. I want to switch my minutes to hours. I'm going to do that now. And I can do that because since kindergarten, I've known that there's 60 minutes. All right, in 1 hour. All right, that's a bad looking H, but it's an H nonetheless. Minutes cancel out. If we were going to calculate this right now, we'd be in units of hours per week. All right, and that could have some use, but it's not exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for hours per year. All right, we're not talking about a regular year of like a 52-week year. We're talking about a school year. And our bottom conversion factor has our value we're going to use. It's going to be, and I'm going back to this week here, 40.0 weeks. Forgot my O. 40.0 weeks in 1 year. All right, and we get to cancel off our weeks. Now we have quite a few numbers going on here. We have the 205, which is the overall minutes per week. And we're going to divide that by 60. And we're going to multiply it by 40. All right, everything on the top is multiplied. Everything on the bottom is divided. All right, and this is going to give us hours per year. And when I did that on my calculator, I get 136.66666667. It's about 11 digits wide, 10 digits wide. I didn't really count it. But we have to round our answer off based on our input, and our input is 205.0. We already said that was 4 sig figs. So our answer is going to be 136.7. All right, and again, that's hours per year. The actual question was asking how many overall hours that would be, and hopefully you can see that if you multiply this by 1 year, how many hours would it be in 1 year? Well, it's going to be 136.7. So that would be our actual answer. I'm going to box it for us. 136.7 hours. All right, now we're going to start on the second part of this question where we're asking for how many days is that? How many days total are you going to be in chemistry class, basically? And I'm going to leave on the bottom there the 1 year equals 40 weeks and see if we can use that. Because we're not talking minutes now. I don't know if this 55 minutes and 75 minutes will really come into play. All right? They're talking about how many overall days. And we do have something else, though. It may have slipped our mind, but we do have our chemistry class meets 3 times a week. So that might be useful. So I'm going to say 3 days a week. All right, so we meet 3 days a week, and there's 40 school weeks in a year. I know some people might be saying it's very obvious algebra, you just multiply them together. Again, you have to take a little step back to use dimensional analysis. It has to be rationalized. It has to be proven on paper. You have to see the canceling. So if we have 40.0 weeks in a year, and I want to know how many, again, the question's asking for days is in a school year, I can use 1 week is 3 days. And when you do this, you're going to see that you have 120. All right, 120 days per school year. All right, because the weeks cancel out. That's good. Now, we ignored sig figs for right now. We have 40.0, okay, that decimal point's saying that 40.0, that's 3 sig figs. And we have 120, which as it stands right now is 2 sig figs. So to answer this appropriately, it should be 3 sig figs, and I can do that with that decimal point. Note the question asked how many days overall, and what they're saying is in 1 school year, so I can get that by multiplying it by 1 school year to get the years to drop off, and that will give my actual answer of 120 decimal place days.